Greetings, fellow magical wanderers. I am back with you here again today with a special gratitude message from thyself personally and from Spirit as a direct channel message. First, I'm going to chime the tuning forks, tuning thy vibration to high vibrational unconditionally loving Spirit, invoking this presence in with us here today, now, and opening the receiving paths so that you can use your own discernment, gather together what resonates with you, and leave what does not. So, take a few deep breaths as I chime this 528 Hertz frequency miracle tuning fork, and we will begin. How are you all doing? What is your heart center feeling like? What is your mind space like? Is it feeling peaceful, chaotic? Are you feeling emotionally clear? Are you feeling stagnant and bundled up? I will start with this. You know that I like to majorly lead by example, meaning everything I'm talking about is being lived in and as and through my life. So nothing is just coming out of my ass, but it's more so being lived with you, and I'm walking right beside you, living all of it. Well, I want to express a sort of apologies, but also not really, because I know there's nothing truly to be sorry about when we're all on our own journey learning and growing. And I've been growing through a lot recently, just as I know you have. We all have. The planet, we're all growing through a lot. And my behalf is, recently I have experienced a series of hardships that have brought a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, a lot of unhappiness, and a lot of self-sabotage. And so that's where I was this last week or so. And I wasn't wanting to coming on here to express it to all of you guys, because that's not yours to carry on your back. I know you're empathic, and I know you're gonna try and do something to help alleviate my somethingness, whatever is going on. But I'd rather remain in my sovereign center. I want you to remain in your sovereign center. And those who are around me personally and physically can best tap into my field and know what they can bring to bring healing and love and whatnot. But unto all of you out there, my problems are not your problems. And I definitely wasn't wanting to come on here and project through my own personal stuff onto you and have a whole message that wasn't directly about you. Which, when Spirit channels through, Hunter, it is so that case where the message is directly for you. And I haven't been feeling that clarity and that self-love recently. And multiple loved ones of mine brought to my awareness just how hard I have been on myself, and how I have not been practicing self-love as much as I've been talking about it. Especially from my past experiences, which we'll go a little bit deeper into perhaps at the end or later. But to give you a short rundown of things and how things have been going, these past 3 to 2 weeks, I've been eating my feelings like I did in the past. And when I did it in the past, it caused an issue titled IBS-C. Now, it's also a sum up of other issues, how that even formed and occurred in the first place. But IBS-C is irritable bowel syndrome in the form of constipation, C. So, through me eating my feelings, these past 3 weeks, being stressed, overthinking, feeling like I'm getting a little bit stuck. That's why I change up my surrounding environment in my room so much, because it helps rejuvenate energy and bring new energy in and make a flow of it and everything. Well, that wasn't feeling sufficient enough. And I started really being down on myself, really hard on myself, hypercritical of almost everything, like not even celebrating how far I've come on my journey. But through this experience, I started to feel like I was being set back and betraying myself by doing and consuming these old patterns and habits and things that I had released, and start a new journey, and at least I thought I released it. And I was finding things that were working for me. I was forming new routine daily. I was being very courageous and strong, right? Well, there were some shadow aspects that I had not seen prior, and that I didn't know were there completely. They're enough to be manifested in a tangible form, which tells you that it is so deep in your subconscious, in your psyche, that you actually bring it to life, because it begins to form a density in here. And this form of density in here that manifested itself is that IBS-C. So, I want to say it was last week, I had the worst, most painful, most uncomfortable bowel movement with constipation that I've had in a long time, because of all the good, positive, healthy changes that I made to my lifestyle, my eating patterns. And when I started to fall back on that, that was my result. And that was the reason why I chose in the very first place to change my routines for the better, so that I didn't have to experience that anymore. But when I experienced it, 3 things happened. 1, I became aware of what I knew, which was the cycles and patterns that led up to that moment. My chain of decisions and choices that I made that led up to that. I became aware right in front of my eyes of everything I did that wasn't in alignment with my highest, greatest good. Everything I still did led up to that painful moment. And then after that, 2, I became aware of what I did not know prior. And that was my actual state of awareness in my nervous system. And how that, it's crazy, you guys. That state of my nervous system is like just absolutely clasped, just so tight, just compounded, so dense and firm. And that's from the past, because I used to be in a constant state of survival and fight or flight. I was living in my car, on the road, not even knowing where I would be safe to sleep at night. And sometimes I wouldn't have barely any food. And so I was living very frugally. And I found some kind of comfort in that. And little did I know, I had internally compartmentalized it and stored it in my nervous system. And that caused major issues. Because as much as I was thinking I was free and I was fluid and I was just completely able to do this survival, fight or flight mode, possibly for the rest of my life because I preferred the freedom. Well, little did I know, in my nervous system, it was the opposite. I was imprisoning myself in eternal pain. In pain that could only be healed if I were to become aware of it and start making permanent change so that I can start creating new cycles and healing my nervous system and unclenching all of this stuck matter that I had placed in there from patterns in the psyche, patterns in the emotional realm, bottling things up and not allowing myself to feel them because they were scary or uncomfortable or painful. When I experienced this pain again on the toilet and I became aware of what I knew and what I did not know simultaneously as one, I have never felt so done to shit and get off the pot in my life. And if you know that phrase, you know what I'm talking about. I am ready to shit and get off the pot. And I've literally experienced the physical epitome of that phrase. I am so ready because that pain, oh God, it did damage, to say the least. It did damage. And that was the most painful part. And I'm only sharing this hyper personal experience with you because this comes down to the next message, which is what I did not know prior to this experience was actually just how excruciatingly hard I have been on myself for a long time. And it was ingrained and etched in stone in my subconscious. At least I thought, and at least I made it. But just as that happened, you're also able to change it. You're able to make a picture out of it that looks better, or change the wording, or whatever. Or just crack the stone, powder it up, turn it into clay, and make a beautiful piece of pottery out of it. You can transmute that. So never feel stuck. And this is truly the piece of wisdom, also the deeper self-love practices that I've become aware of from this pain. It is so profoundly important to love yourself enough to where you can liberate yourself and know that you are never, ever, 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 ever stuck. As much as it may seem you are, that is in the mind. And let me tell you, astrologically speaking, as an Aquarius, I know a lot about the mind and how it can be a great liberator, a great creator, but also your greatest, most profound imprisonment and enemy. And it seems as though I have decided enough is enough with that side of things. Enough is enough with trying to hyper-focus a high vibrational, completely pure and positive side of my life things, and find my center. Find the balance in between. Find what I can do and what I can't do. And unite them both. What is this? Unite them both and see what magic can come about anyways. Because clearly something can come from nothing. Look at the universe. Look at nature. Look at you in the mirror. You came from nothingness. Your little placenta grew in a womb of a woman that previously did not have anything growing in her like that. And same for a man. You literally form out of an abyss of nothingness. So therefore, you are an infinite creator. You're an infinite creator. And don't allow that to overwhelm you, because you can create anything you want and any time span you want, in any capacity, in any caliber. And what I'm choosing to create for myself is a lifestyle, is a mental thought pattern, is an emotional knowingness that I love and accept myself unconditionally. Thank you to my loved ones that allowed me to become aware of just how hard I've been on myself. And thank you for your patience and your unconditional love and your tenderness and your understanding, waiting for me to come to you with what all hardship I've been experiencing. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for loving me. And thank you for reflecting back unto me when I was in need of my own medicine. Thank you for receiving my medicine when I've gifted it to you. And thank you for gifting it back unto me. That I've seen that so clearly, and I feel like I've never seen that so clearly in my life than in that moment. And if I had not experienced that hardship, if I had not experienced that pain, that horrendous constipation on the toilet where I became aware of how unhappy I was and how dense and heavy and stuck I felt. And my nervous system and my whole body was tense, and I mean, no wonder I have knots in my back and my neck and who knows where else. But really mostly my neck and my back, because I've been carrying a lot of weight for a long time. And it manifests physically in the forms of this. And yeah, it's time for me to love myself. It's time for me to practice what I preach even more. And that's why I wasn't coming on here and doing a video, because I wasn't feeling like I was leading by an example at that point, when it was brought to my awareness of just how hard I've been on myself and not practicing self-love and abandoning a connection with my true, authentic self. You know, I need to maintain and sustain personally the habits and routines that I formed for myself that actually works in order to transcend this past experience that I'm ready to move on from. And the only way I can truly move on from it is when I am personally, consciously ready to provide the conscious will of change to create a concrete and permanent change, which will also be changing a karmic cycle. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm very much so looking forward to that. So thank you again to everyone who sent me love and prayers and sat with me in my most vulnerable and painful, uncomfortable state, and brought the gift of awareness unto me. Thank you. Thank you. So perhaps the collective now is experiencing some similar wavelengths of life experiences and lessons, allowing us to best find our center and our middle path of what works for us. Not choosing this or that, either or, but choosing both, harmonizing them, and alchemizing a middle path with them, co-creating and coexisting as one. Good, bad, evil, good. But you know what I mean? So that's the message. And if it resonates for you and if it helps you out in some way, then I'm happy for you. And I hope this gives you some key points of awareness for yourself so that you can better be on your journey of self-love and self-acceptance, and also open yourself up vulnerably to receive that medicine back unto you that you so willingly gift out, that love and support. It really does come back when you have the eye of awareness to see. But yeah, that is all for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and until next time, I'm sending you an abundance of happy smiles, sunny days, restful sleeps, and complete whole body rejuvenation and personally fulfilling nourishment in every way you may possibly need it in this moment. Namaste.